I'm Haley, 28, and I'm standing in my microscopic New York apartment, wondering why my own family thinks I'm a failure. My mother just hung up on me after I declined to loan my sister money for another shopping spree. Apparently saying I can't afford it makes me selfish. Funny how that works when you're the one actually living within your means. Where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments below and hit that like and subscribe button if you've ever felt like the family disappointment. You'll definitely want to stick around for what happened next. Let me paint you a picture of my glamorous life. I live in a studio apartment that's smaller than most people's closets, in Queens, because Manhattan rent would eat my entire paycheck. My bed folds into the wall, my dining table doubles as my desk, and my kitchen is basically a hallway with appliances. But here's the thing everyone misses. This isn't desperation, it's strategy. Every morning, I wake up at 5:30 a.m., make my coffee from home instead of buying that $4 latte, and take the subway to my job as a financial analyst at a mid-tier investment firm. I wear the same 5 outfits on rotation because I'd rather put money into my savings account than my closet. My coworkers probably think I'm broke, but I'm pulling in $75,000 a year, decent money for someone my age in New York. The difference between me and literally everyone else I know? They spend their money trying to look successful. I spend mine preparing to actually be successful. My family doesn't understand this concept at all. When my sister Emma calls asking for money to cover her credit card bills, she can't fathom why I won't just hand over cash. When my mom asks why I don't take vacations to Europe like Emma does, she acts like my response, because I'm saving for my future, is code for I hate fun. The truth is, I've been studying business and finance since college. Not just my day job, but nights and weekends too. I read every business book I can get my hands on, watch YouTube videos about successful entrepreneurs, and spend hours analyzing market trends. I know exactly what I want to do with my life. I'm going to own my own business. I just don't know what kind yet. But while I'm educating myself and building my nest egg, my family has decided I'm the resident bank. Every family gathering, someone has a sob story and an open palm. Emma needs money for a car down payment. Mom needs help with her credit card bills. Even distant cousins think I'm their personal ATM. The irony? They all make more money than me. Emma works in marketing and pulls in 80 grand. Mom has her teaching pension and dad's insurance benefits. But somehow I'm the one with money to spare because I drive a Honda Civic instead of a BMW, and I eat ramen at home instead of brunch in Manhattan. Tonight's phone call was the last straw. Emma wanted $3,000. $3,000, because she accidentally overdrafted her account buying designer shoes. When I said no, she actually had the nerve to say, "What are you saving all that money for anyway? You never spend it on anything." That's when something inside me snapped. What am I saving for? Only the chance to never have to ask anyone for anything ever again. But I couldn't exactly explain my business plans to Emma, since her idea of an investment strategy is buying shoes on sale. After hanging up on my sister, I did what I always do when my family makes me question my sanity. I opened my laptop and reviewed my financial spreadsheets. Savings account, $43,000. Investment portfolio, $28,000. Emergency fund, $15,000. Total net worth, $86,000. Not bad for someone who supposedly can't afford to help out family, right? But here's what Emma doesn't know, and what my parents definitely don't know. I've been meeting with business brokers for the past 6 months. I'm actively looking for the right opportunity to buy an existing business rather than starting from scratch. My background in finance gives me a huge advantage when evaluating business opportunities. I can read profit and loss statements like other people read magazines. I understand cash flow, market analysis, and risk assessment. I've turned down 12 potential purchases because the numbers didn't work or the market was oversaturated. I'm not just randomly saving money hoping something good will happen. I have a plan, a real one, with spreadsheets and timelines and contingency funds. But explaining this to my family feels impossible because they've already decided I'm the practical one who doesn't take risks. My phone buzzes with a text from Mom. "Emma is really hurt by your selfishness. Family should come first." I stare at that message for a full 5 minutes. Family should come first. Coming from the woman who spent my entire childhood comparing me to Emma and finding me lacking. The woman who still introduces me as my responsible daughter, while Emma gets to be my creative daughter. Responsible. That's their code word for boring. For the daughter who doesn't need encouragement or support or celebration because she'll figure it out on her own. The daughter who gets practical gifts for Christmas while Emma gets jewelry and vacations. I type back, maybe Emma should learn to manage her money better instead of expecting bailouts. Mom's response comes immediately. You don't understand how hard it is for creative people to handle finances. And there it is. The fundamental difference in how my family sees Emma versus how they see me. Emma's financial disasters are just proof that she's too artistic and free-spirited to handle mundane things like budgets. My financial responsibility is just proof that I'm naturally good at boring stuff and don't need emotional support. I close my laptop and walk to my tiny kitchen to make dinner. Pasta with jarred sauce again, because I'm saving for something bigger than expensive takeout. While I wait for the water to boil, I check my email. There's a message from Marcus, my business broker, with the subject line, "Urgent, new listing." My heart races as I open it. A restaurant in Manhattan is going on the market tomorrow. The owner is retiring and wants a quick sale. Initial asking price is $2.5 million, but Marcus thinks there's room for negotiation. A restaurant. I've never seriously considered the food industry, but as I read through the details, my analytical mind starts spinning. Location on a prime street in Midtown. Established clientele. Fully equipped kitchen. The only downside? It's been closed for 3 months while the owner dealt with health issues. That downside might actually be an opportunity. By 2 a.m., I've consumed every piece of information about this restaurant that exists online. Gramercy's Table. Upscale American cuisine. Open for 8 years. Consistently solid reviews until the abrupt closure 3 months ago. The owner, Robert Chen, had a heart attack and decided retirement was more appealing than the stress of restaurant management. The numbers are fascinating. Average monthly revenue of $45,000 during operating months. Food costs running about 30%, which is good. Rent is $8,000 monthly, which hurts but isn't terrible for the location. The real gold mine is the existing infrastructure. A fully equipped commercial kitchen that would cost $200,000 to build from scratch. But here's where my finance background really pays off. I can see what others might miss. 3 months of closure means lost customer momentum, but it also means 3 months of rent paid with no revenue. That's $24,000 of pure loss the owner is eating. He's motivated to sell fast, which means I have leverage. I spend the next hour researching comparable restaurant sales in the neighborhood. Similar establishments have sold for anywhere from $1.8 to $3.2 million, depending on their financial performance. Gramercy's Table falls right in the middle of that range, but the closure situation changes everything. Have you ever experienced that moment when everything clicks into place? When you realize this is exactly what you've been preparing for, even when you didn't know it? That's what happens to me at 3 a.m. while staring at profit projections for a restaurant I haven't even seen yet. By morning, I've created a complete business plan. Not just financial projections, but marketing strategies, menu revisions, staffing plans, everything. The restaurant has good bones, but it needs a refresh. New marketing campaign, updated decor, maybe expand the wine list. I estimate needing about $200,000 for renovations and reopening costs on top of the purchase price. I call Marcus at exactly 9 a.m. I want to see it today. Haley, slow down. I haven't even finished researching the property yet. I've been up all night researching it. When can we see it? 2 hours later, I'm standing in front of Gramercy's Table with my business broker and my lawyer. The exterior needs painting, but the location is prime. Corner spot with huge windows and foot traffic from 3 office buildings within 2 blocks. Inside, it's better than I hoped. The dining room has great natural light, hardwood floors that need refinishing but aren't damaged, and a layout that maximizes seating without feeling cramped. The kitchen is gorgeous. Professional-grade equipment, plenty of prep space, and a pass-through design that lets diners see the cooking action. What's he really hoping to get for it? I ask Marcus while examining the wine storage area. Between you and me, he's desperate. His wife wants to move to Florida immediately, and carrying this mortgage plus rent on a closed restaurant is killing them. I think he'd take $2 million if the terms were right. $2 million. I have the down payment. I have proof of income for the mortgage. I have a business plan that shows profitability within 18 months. For the first time in my adult life, I have everything I need to make a major decision without asking permission or approval from anyone. Except I realize I want to share this moment with someone. Not for approval, but for celebration. And there's only one person in my family who's ever actually supported my ambitions. I need to make a phone call. I tell Marcus, give me 10 minutes. I step outside and dial my father's number. Dad, what are you doing this afternoon? My voice practically vibrates with excitement as I pace the sidewalk outside the restaurant. Just finishing up some yard work. Why do you sound like you just won the lottery? Close enough, I think. I need you to come into the city. There's something I want to show you, and I need a second opinion from someone I trust. Dad is the one person in my family who ever encouraged my business ambitions. While Mom worried that I was too focused on money, and Emma rolled her eyes at my spreadsheets, Dad listened when I talked about market analysis and investment strategies. He's the one who taught me to read financial statements in the first place. Is everything okay? You sound different. Everything's perfect, but I need you to meet me in Manhattan in 2 hours. Can you do that? Haley, you're scaring me. What's going on? I take a deep breath. Dad, I think I found it. The business opportunity I've been waiting for. But it's big, and I need someone who understands numbers to tell me I'm not crazy. 2 hours later, Dad emerges from the subway looking concerned and curious. He's dressed in his weekend clothes, khakis and a polo shirt, but he brought his reading glasses, which means he's taking this seriously. Okay, sweetheart, show me what's got you so excited. I lead him to Gramercy's table, pulling out my folder of research as we walk. Remember how I've been saving money to buy a business? This is it. A restaurant that's been closed for 3 months because the owner had health issues. Dad stops walking. A restaurant? Haley, the failure rate for restaurants is astronomical. 80% fail within 5 years. I know the statistics. Dad, I also know that most restaurant failures are due to poor financial management or undercapitalization, neither of which apply to me. I hand him my business plan as we reach the front door. Look at the numbers. For the next hour, Dad and I walk through every inch of Gramercy's table while he reviews my analysis. He asks the right questions: cash flow projections, operating costs, market competition, renovation timeline. All the things that prove he's taking this seriously instead of just humoring me. In the kitchen, he runs his hands along the stainless steel prep counters. This equipment alone is worth a fortune. $200,000 to replace it all, according to my research. He nods, flipping through pages of my financial projections. Your cost analysis is thorough, but Haley, this is a massive risk. You'd be putting your entire savings into one venture. Dad, I've been preparing for this for 3 years. I understand the restaurant business isn't just about food, it's about marketing, management, customer service, inventory control. I've been studying all of it. We sit at one of the empty tables while Dad finishes reading my business plan. The afternoon sunlight streams through the windows, and I can picture this place bustling with customers again. New paint, fresh flowers on the tables, the smell of good food drawing people in from the street. The financial projections look solid, Dad says finally, but are you sure this is what you want? Once you sign that purchase agreement, there's no going back to your comfortable analyst job. Dad, I've never been more sure of anything in my life. This isn't just about owning a business. It's about proving that all my careful planning and saving was for something real. I'm tired of my family thinking I'm just the boring daughter who hoards money for no reason. Dad's expression softens. Is that what this is about? Proving something to your mother and Emma? No. This is about proving something to myself. But it would be nice if they finally understood that I'm not just being practical for the sake of it. I have goals. Dad closes my folder and looks around the empty restaurant. If you do this, what's your timeline for reopening? 3 months for renovations and permits. I'd want a soft open before the holidays to capture some of that seasonal dining traffic. And you'd run it yourself? Initially, yes. I'd hire an experienced chef and front-of-house manager, but I'd be there every day learning the operation. I pause, then add the question that's been weighing on me. What do you think I should tell Mom and Emma? Dad considers this. What do you want to tell them? Honestly, nothing. Not yet. They'll either try to talk me out of it or they'll suddenly want to be involved in ways that aren't helpful. I'd rather prove this can work first. Dad smiles, and I can see pride in his eyes. Then that's what we'll do. This stays between us until you're ready to share. Dad and I shake hands outside Gramercy's table like we're sealing a business deal. In a way, we are. Not a financial partnership, but an emotional one. For the first time in my adult life, someone in my family is truly in my corner for something that matters to me. The next 6 weeks blur together in a whirlwind of paperwork, inspections, and negotiations. Marcus works his magic with the seller, and I present an offer of $1.8 million with a fast closing. Robert Chen counters at $1.9, which I accept immediately. My mortgage gets approved in 6 weeks because banks love borrowers with strong credit scores and significant down payments. The hardest part is keeping quiet about it. Emma calls twice wanting money for various emergencies. Her car needs repairs, her apartment needs a security deposit, her credit card has late fees. Each time I say no, I get a lecture about being selfish and forgetting where I came from. You act like money is more important than family, Emma says during our latest argument. If only she knew that I'm about to risk every penny I have on a dream that doesn't include bailing her out of self-inflicted financial problems. But I bite my tongue and stick to my plan. No one finds out until this is real. 3 days before closing, I take a personal day and meet Dad at the restaurant for one final walkthrough. The seller has agreed to leave all the kitchen equipment and dining room furniture, which saves me thousands in startup costs. I've been thinking about marketing, I tell Dad as we check the condition of the wine coolers. The previous owner relied heavily on word of mouth, but I want to build a proper social media presence. Maybe partner with local food bloggers. Dad nods approvingly. Smart. Your generation understands digital marketing better than us old-timers. I'm also planning to update the menu slightly. Keep the classics that regular customers expect, but add some seasonal specials and lighter options for the lunch crowd. We spend an hour going through my renovation timeline. New paint throughout, refinish the floors, update the lighting fixtures, and redesign the bar area to be more modern. Nothing too dramatic. I want to refresh the space without losing its established charm. There is one thing I've been wondering about, Dad says as we prepare to leave. What happens when your mother and Emma find out? You know they're going to have opinions. I've been dreading this conversation, but I know Dad's right. Honestly, I expect Mom to worry that I'm being reckless. And Emma will probably be jealous that I can afford something this big when I won't lend her money for shopping trips. And how will you handle that? I lock the door behind us, holding the keys to what will soon be my restaurant. By being successful, it's hard to argue with results. 2 days later, I sit in a lawyer's office signing more papers than I've ever seen in my life. Purchase agreement, mortgage documents, business license applications, insurance policies. Each signature represents another step towards something I've been working toward for years. At 3:47 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon, I become the owner of Gramercy's table. Marcus shakes my hand, the lawyer congratulates me, and I walk out onto the street as a business owner. The first person I call is Dad. It's official. I just bought a restaurant. Congratulations, sweetheart. I'm proud of you. The second call is to my boss, giving 2 weeks' notice. He tries to talk me out of it, offering a promotion and a salary increase. But my mind is made up. I've been preparing for this moment for too long to back down now. That night, I sit in my tiny apartment, surrounded by renovation quotes and supplier catalogs, planning every detail of my new life. In 3 months, I'll be running a restaurant in Manhattan. In 6 months, I'll hopefully be turning a profit. In a year, I'll have proven to myself and everyone else that all those years of careful saving and planning were worth it. But first, I need to survive telling my family. I decide to wait until after the renovation starts to tell Mom and Emma about the restaurant. Call it self-preservation, but I want to be past the point of no return before they have a chance to share their concerns about my decision-making abilities. For 3 weeks, I throw myself into renovation planning. I hire contractors, meet with suppliers, and interview potential staff members. Every morning before work, I stop by the restaurant to check progress. Every evening, I review quotes and make decisions about everything from paint colors to napkin suppliers. My family has no idea what I'm doing with my time. When Emma asks why I'm never available for family dinners anymore, I tell her I'm busy with work projects. When Mom wonders why I sound distracted during our weekly phone calls, I blame stress from my job. The lies are necessary because I know exactly what will happen when they find out. Mom will worry that I'm risking my financial security on a whim. Emma will be jealous that I can afford such a major purchase while claiming I can't help with her expenses. Neither reaction will be helpful while I'm trying to focus on getting the restaurant ready for reopening. But the secret becomes harder to maintain as opening day approaches. I need to start marketing the reopening, which means the information will eventually become public. And honestly, part of me wants to share this achievement with people who are supposed to care about my success. Dad has been my sounding board throughout the renovation process. He stops by the restaurant regularly, offering encouragement and practical advice. Watching him beam with pride when the new lighting gets installed makes me realize how much I've missed having someone genuinely excited about my accomplishments. You know you'll have to tell them soon, he says while we review the final menu layout. Your mother's been asking why you've been so secretive lately. I know. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to handle it. Dad puts down the menu and looks at me seriously. Haley, you've accomplished something incredible here. You've turned a failed business into what's going to be a successful restaurant through careful planning and smart financial decisions. I knew you were evaluating restaurant opportunities, but seeing this finished result, don't let anyone make you feel bad about what you've achieved. His words hit harder than I expected. For my entire life, I've let my family make me feel guilty for being responsible with money, for having goals, for not being more spontaneous like Emma. But Dad's right. I've accomplished something incredible, and I deserve to feel proud of it. I think I want to invite them to the reopening, I say suddenly. Not to ask for approval or support, but to show them what I've been working toward. Dad smiles. I think that's perfect. Let them see the finished product instead of worrying about the process. 2 days before the soft opening, I finally make the call to Mom. I have something to tell you, and I'd like you to bring Emma over so I can explain everything at once. Haley, you're scaring me. Is everything okay? Everything's perfect. But I need to share some news with both of you, and I'd prefer to do it in person. We arranged to meet at my apartment the next evening. I spend the day rehearsing what I'll say, how I'll present the information, how I'll respond to their inevitable concerns and questions. But as I'm setting out coffee and cookies for their visit, my phone rings with news that changes everything. It's Dad, and his voice is excited. Haley, I have an idea about how to tell your mother and Emma. My birthday is in 3 weeks. What if instead of explaining everything now, you just invite them to celebrate at the restaurant? Tell them you want to treat the family to dinner somewhere special, but don't give details until they get there. You mean surprise them at the restaurant? Exactly. Let them see what you've built before they have a chance to worry about it. The idea is brilliant and terrifying. Instead of defending my decision, I'd be presenting them with a fait accompli. Instead of asking for understanding, I'd be sharing success. But what if they're angry that I kept this from them? Then they'll be angry, but they'll also be impressed. And maybe for once they'll realize that you know what you're doing. After we hang up, I sit in my tiny apartment one last time as just Haley the financial analyst. Tomorrow I'll be Haley the restaurant owner, whether my family approves or not. The only question left is whether they'll be proud of me or resentful of my success. But honestly, for the first time in my life, I'm more curious about the answer than afraid of it. The next evening, I'm pacing my apartment like a caged animal, waiting for Mom and Emma to arrive. I've rehearsed this conversation 100 times, but Dad's suggestion to surprise them at the restaurant keeps echoing in my mind. Show, don't tell. Let them see the success instead of explaining the risk. When they knock, I take a deep breath and open the door. Mom looks worried. Emma looks annoyed. Typical. Okay, what's the emergency? Emma says, brushing past me without even saying hello. I had to cancel dinner plans for this family meeting. It's not an emergency, I say, gesturing for them to sit. It's actually good news. Great news. Mom perches on the edge of my folding chair, still looking concerned. Haley, you've been so secretive lately. We're worried about you. Worried about me. Right. More like worried that I'm not available to solve their financial problems at a moment's notice. I've been secretive because I've been working on something big. Something I wanted to get right before sharing it with you. I sit across from them, suddenly feeling like I'm about to defend a thesis. For the past month, I've been renovating and preparing to reopen a restaurant in Manhattan. Silence. Complete, deafening silence. Emma blinks first. I'm sorry, what? You bought a restaurant? Yes. Gramercy's table on East 23rd Street. It's been closed for 3 months, but I saw the potential and made an offer. Mom's face has gone completely white. Haley, please tell me you didn't spend your life savings on some failed business. And there it is. The immediate assumption that I've made a terrible mistake. Not congratulations or tell us about it, or even how exciting. Just fear that I've ruined my life. It's not a failed business, Mom. It's a successful restaurant that closed temporarily due to the owner's health issues. I spent 2 months analyzing the financials before making an offer. Emma shakes her head. This is insane. You won't lend me money for a security deposit, but you'll blow everything on a restaurant? Do you know how many restaurants fail? 80% within 5 years. I recite calmly. I also know that most failures are due to poor financial management or insufficient capital, neither of which applies to me. Haley, Mom says, and her voice has that tone she uses when she thinks I'm being naive. Restaurants are incredibly risky investments. Why didn't you talk to us before making such a huge decision? Because I knew exactly this would happen. Because I knew you'd focus on the risk instead of the opportunity. Because I knew you'd treat me like an impulsive child instead of a capable adult who's been planning this for years. But I don't say any of that. Instead, I pull out my laptop and show them my business plan, my financial projections, my renovation timeline. I walk them through every detail, every calculation, every contingency I've planned for. Emma scrolls through my social media mock-ups with a frown. This all looks very professional, but Haley, you don't know anything about running a restaurant. I know about running a business. I know about financial management, marketing, customer service, and operations. The restaurant industry isn't magic. It's just another business that needs proper management. Mom closes the laptop. What if it doesn't work? What if you lose everything? Then I'll have tried something meaningful instead of just talking about it forever. The words come out sharper than I intended. Some of us actually take risks instead of just complaining about our situations. Emma's face flushes. Are you saying I don't take risks? I'm saying I'm tired of being treated like I'm crazy for having ambitions beyond lending money to family members who never pay it back. The room goes nuclear quiet. Mom and Emma exchange a look that clearly says they think I've lost my mind. What do you think will happen next when your family finally sees what you've accomplished? The awkward silence stretches until Mom finally speaks. Haley, we're not trying to discourage you. We're worried because this seems so unlike you. Unlike me how? Unlike the daughter who's been responsible with money her entire life? Unlike the daughter who actually plans for the future instead of living paycheck to paycheck? Emma stands up abruptly. You know what? I don't need to sit here and listen to you judge my life choices. I'm not judging your choices, Emma. I'm just tired of mine being judged. Mom tries to play peacekeeper. Girls, let's not argue. Haley, when does this restaurant open? Soft opening is in 3 days. Grand opening is next week. 3 days? Mom looks panicked. But we haven't even seen it yet. And here's where Dad's plan becomes brilliant. Actually, I was thinking of having a family dinner there for Dad's birthday next month. You could see the place in action instead of just looking at pictures. The suggestion catches them both off guard. Mom's concern shifts to curiosity, and Emma's jealousy starts mixing with genuine interest. Dad knows about this? Emma asks. Dad helped me evaluate the business plan. He's been incredibly supportive. I can see Emma processing this information. In our family dynamics, Dad's approval carries weight. If he thinks this is a good idea, maybe it's not as crazy as she initially thought. I suppose we could have his birthday dinner there, Mom says slowly. But Haley, promise me you've thought this through completely. Mom, I've done nothing but think this through for months. This isn't some impulsive decision. It's the culmination of 3 years of planning and saving. After they leave, I call Dad to update him on the conversation. How did they take it? He asks. About as well as expected. Lots of worry, some judgment, but I think the birthday dinner idea softened them up a bit. Good. Let them see the restaurant when it's operating successfully. Actions speak louder than explanations. 2 days later, I have my soft opening with a small group of friends and food industry contacts. Everything goes perfectly. The kitchen runs smoothly, the service is polished, and the reviews are glowing. By the end of the night, I'm already taking reservations for the following week. The grand opening is even better. Food bloggers, local business owners, and curious neighbors pack the place. The chef I hired, Marcus Rivera, is phenomenal, and my front-of-house manager, Sarah, handles the crowd like a seasoned pro. Standing behind the bar watching my restaurant bustling with happy customers, I feel a satisfaction I've never experienced in my life. This is mine. I built this. I made this happen. Dad's birthday is still 3 weeks away, but I'm no longer nervous about my family seeing the restaurant. I'm excited for them to witness what their practical daughter accomplished while they weren't paying attention. The 3 weeks between my grand opening and Dad's birthday pass in a blur of busy dinner services and positive reviews. Gramercy's table is booked solid most nights, and I've already had to turn away walk-ins on weekends. The food bloggers love us, the neighborhood regulars are coming back, and my staff is gelling into an efficient team. I'm exhausted, but exhilarated. Every morning, I wake up excited to go to work instead of dreading another day at a corporate job. Every evening, I fall asleep proud of what I've accomplished instead of planning someone else's financial success. The only dark cloud is my family. Mom calls twice a week with helpful suggestions about restaurant management, most of which reveal she has no idea what she's talking about. Emma has been unusually quiet, which probably means she's processing her feelings about my success. 3 days before Dad's birthday, I call him to confirm dinner plans. I made us a reservation for 7 p.m., I tell him. Prime time, so you'll see the restaurant at its busiest. I can't wait, sweetheart. Your mother and Emma have been asking questions about the menu all week. Good questions or worried questions? Curious questions. I think they're starting to realize this might actually work out. Dad's birthday falls on a Saturday, which means the restaurant will be packed. I've planned everything perfectly. Our table has the best view of the dining room. Marcus is preparing Dad's favorite dishes, and I've arranged for a special dessert with candles. Saturday afternoon, I'm at the restaurant early, reviewing reservations and checking that everything is perfect. We're completely booked, with a waiting list of 12 people hoping for cancellations. The kind of problem every restaurant owner dreams of having. At 6:30, I position myself near the front door to greet my family when they arrive. I'm wearing my best dress and the confidence that comes from knowing I've succeeded beyond my own expectations. At 6:55, Mom and Emma walk through the door. I'm standing in the entrance, ready to welcome them with a huge smile, when Mom stops short and looks around with obvious surprise. The place is buzzing with activity. Every table occupied, servers moving efficiently, the open kitchen visible and busy. Oh my, Mom says, taking in the scene. This is much busier than I expected. Emma is equally surprised, but her expression is harder to read. She's looking around like she's trying to find fault with something but can't quite manage it. Hi, I say, stepping forward with my arms open for hugs. You made it! That's when Mom's face changes. The surprise shifts to something colder, more familiar. The look she gets when she thinks someone is showing off. What are you doing here, Haley? She asks, not moving to hug me. Don't you have a table to get to? This place looks expensive. You probably can't even afford the tip. The words hit me like ice water. After everything, the successful opening, the packed restaurant, The obvious proof that I knew what I was doing, her first instinct is still to put me down. Emma laughs, a sound that cuts right through me. Seriously, Haley, maybe McDonald's would be more your speed. I stand there, frozen, feeling my heart sink into my stomach. In front of my own restaurant, in front of my customers, my own mother and sister are humiliating me like I'm still the broke little sister who can't afford nice things. For a moment, I can't breathe. I'm 28 years old, standing in front of the successful business I built from scratch, and my mother just told me I can't afford to eat here. My sister just suggested I belong at McDonald's instead. The hostess looks confused. A couple waiting for their table is staring. My entire professional world is about to collide with my family's toxic dynamics, and I'm paralyzed by the familiar shame they've been making me feel my whole life. But then Dad appears in the doorway, right on time, looking handsome in his best suit and carrying a small gift bag. "There's my birthday girl," he says, wrapping me in a warm hug before I can even process what's happening. The moment breaks. I hug him back, breathing in his familiar cologne and letting his presence steady me. Dad has always been my anchor in family storms. "Happy birthday, Dad," I manage, my voice only slightly shaky. He pulls back and looks around the restaurant with genuine wonder. "Haley, this place is incredible. Look at this crowd." Mom and Emma are watching this exchange with growing confusion. Dad's obvious pride and familiarity with the situation doesn't match their assumption that I'm somehow crashing a party I can't afford. "How did you get us a table here?" Emma asks. "This place looks like it's booked solid." I find my voice again. "Follow me. I'll show you to your seats." I lead them through the dining room, past tables full of happy customers, past the open kitchen where Marcus and his team are working their magic, to the best table in the house, the corner spot with perfect ambiance and a view of the entire restaurant. "This is beautiful," Mom says, settling into her chair and looking around with new appreciation. "The atmosphere is lovely." Dad beams at me. "Your mother and Emma have no idea what they're in for tonight." Emma picks up the menu and I watch her eyebrows rise as she reads the descriptions. These dishes sound amazing, and the prices aren't as high as I expected for this quality. For the first time since they arrived, I start to relax. Maybe the restaurant will speak for itself. Maybe they'll see what I've accomplished instead of focusing on what they think I can't do. The server approaches, Sarah, my front-of-house manager, and I can see the exact moment when she recognizes me. "Good evening, Mr. Thompson," she says to Dad with a professional smile. "Happy birthday. We have a very special evening planned for you." Then she turns to me. "Haley, everything looks perfect for the celebration. Marcus wants to know if you'd like him to start with the appetizer course in about 10 minutes? The words hang in the air like a bomb waiting to explode. Sarah just called me by my first name. She just asked about Marcus's timing. She just made it obvious that I'm not just another customer. Mom's fork stops halfway to her mouth. Emma's head snaps up from the menu. Dad grins like he's been waiting for this moment all evening. "That sounds perfect." "Sarah," I say calmly, "please tell Marcus we're ready whenever he is." Sarah nods and walks away, leaving us in a silence so thick you could cut it with one of Marcus's perfectly sharpened knives. Emma speaks first. "Why did she call you Haley? And who is Marcus?" I take a deep breath. This is the moment I've been preparing for, dreading and anticipating for weeks. "Marcus is my head chef," I say simply, "and Sarah is my front-of-house manager." "You're... what?" Mom's voice is barely a whisper. "Mom, Emma, I'd like to officially welcome you to Gramercy's table, my restaurant." The silence that follows my announcement is deafening. I can actually hear the conversation at the table next to us, the clink of glasses from the bar, the sizzle from the kitchen, but my family might as well be frozen in time. Emma's mouth is literally hanging open. Mom looks like she's trying to solve a complex math problem in her head. Dad is trying not to smile too widely, but his eyes are sparkling with pride. "Your restaurant," Emma finally manages. "As in, you own this place?" "I own this place. I bought it 6 weeks ago, spent a month renovating it, hired the staff, designed the menu with Marcus, and reopened it 2 weeks ago." Mom is looking around the dining room with new eyes. The bustling service, the happy customers, the professional operation. "But where did you get the money for something like this?" And there it is, the question I've been expecting. Because in their minds, I'm the daughter who can't afford to help with Emma's car payment, so how could I possibly afford to buy a restaurant? "I saved it, Mom. Remember all those years when you thought I was being cheap and boring? I was actually building a business fund." Emma shakes her head. "This doesn't make sense. Dad, did you help her buy this place? Because if you did, I think it's pretty unfair that—" "Emma, stop." Dad's voice is firm but gentle. "I didn't give Haley a penny. She did this entirely on her own." I can see the wheels turning in Emma's head. If Dad didn't help, if I really did this myself, Then what does that say about all the times she's asked me for money and I said I couldn't afford it? So when I needed help with my security deposit, Emma starts. You needed help because you spent your security deposit money on a vacation. I finish. I said I couldn't afford to help because I was saving every dollar for this. The hurt on Emma's face is real, but it's mixed with something else. Jealousy. The realization that while she was living paycheck to paycheck and asking family for bailouts, I was quietly building something significant. Mom reaches across the table and touches my hand. Haley, I owe you an apology. When we arrived tonight and I said those things about you not being able to afford this place, you said them because you've always seen me as the daughter who can't have nice things, I interrupt. The practical one who doesn't need encouragement or celebration because she'll figure it out on her own. That's not, Mom, it is. And that's okay, because I did figure it out on my own, but it would have been nice to have my family's support instead of their doubt. Marcus appears at our table carrying a beautiful plate of appetizers. Good evening, everyone. I'm Marcus, the head chef. Haley has told me so much about her family. I wanted to personally welcome you to our restaurant. He sets down the plate with a flourish. These are our signature lamb meatballs with pomegranate glaze. They're on the house tonight to celebrate Mr. Thompson's birthday. After Marcus leaves, Emma picks up a meatball and takes a bite. Her eyes widen. Oh my God, this is incredible. Marcus trained at Le Bernardin, I explain. It took me 3 weeks to convince him to leave his previous job. We eat in relative quiet for a few minutes, but I can feel the tension building. Emma keeps looking around the restaurant, and I can see her calculating the number of tables, the prices on the menu, the obvious success of the operation. Finally, she puts down her fork. I need to ask you something, and I want an honest answer. Okay. All those times I asked you for money, all those times you said you couldn't afford to help, were you lying? The question hangs between us like a challenge. I could soften it, make it easier for her to accept. But Dad's words echo in my mind. You've accomplished something incredible. Don't let anyone make you feel bad about that. I wasn't lying about not being able to afford it, I say carefully. I was choosing not to afford it. There's a difference. What's the difference? The difference is that I could have given you money for car repairs and vacations and shopping trips. But if I had, I wouldn't have been able to buy this restaurant. I chose my future over your immediate wants. Emma's face crumples. So you just let me struggle while you had money sitting in the bank? And there it is. The accusation I've been dreading. The suggestion that my success somehow makes me responsible for her problems. Emma, you weren't struggling. You were making poor financial choices and expecting me to fix them. There's a difference between helping family in a crisis and enabling bad habits. She stands up abruptly. I can't believe you. All this time, you've been judging me, thinking you're better than me because you save money instead of living your life. I don't think I'm better than you, but I do think I made better choices. Emma storms off to the bathroom, leaving Mom, Dad, and me at the table in uncomfortable silence. Around us, the restaurant continues its evening service. Couples celebrating anniversaries, friends catching up over wine, business dinners, and family gatherings. Normal people having normal conversations while my family implodes at table 12. I should go talk to her, Mom says, starting to rise. Let her process, Dad suggests gently. She needs time to understand what this really means. What does it mean? I ask, because suddenly I'm not sure myself. Mom settles back into her chair. It means you've accomplished something none of us thought was possible. And it means Emma has to face some uncomfortable truths about her own choices. It also means, Dad adds, cutting into his lamb with obvious enjoyment, that my daughter is more capable and determined than even I realized. When Emma returns from the bathroom, her eyes are red, but her expression is calmer. She sits down and looks directly at me. I need to know something, she says. When you wouldn't help me with the car down payment last month, was it really because you couldn't afford it? I consider lying, softening the blow. But we're past that now. It was because I chose not to afford it. The down payment you needed was exactly what I spent on new kitchen equipment. She nods slowly. And the security deposit for my apartment? I spent that money on marketing and staff training. And when I wanted to borrow money for that weekend trip to Miami, that would have covered my insurance premiums for 3 months. Emma takes a shaky breath. So every time I thought my sister was too broke to help me, she was actually choosing her business over my problems. Yes. And now you own a successful restaurant while I'm still asking for help with basic expenses. Yes. The admission hangs between us. I can see her struggling with what this means about our relationship, about the assumptions she's made about me, about the choices she's made for herself. I don't know how to feel about this, she says finally. You don't have to feel anything specific, I tell her. But you do need to understand that things are going to be different between us going forward. Mom frowns. Different how? I look around my restaurant, at the successful business I built, at the staff I hired, at the customers enjoying themselves. And I realize something fundamental has shifted in how I see myself and my place in this family. I'm not going to be the family safety net anymore, I say quietly. I'm not going to be the responsible daughter who sacrifices her goals so everyone else can avoid the consequences of their choices. Haley, Mom starts. I'm not saying I'll never help anyone, but I'm saying the help has to be mutual. It has to be part of a relationship where my success is celebrated instead of resented, where my goals matter as much as everyone else's problems. Emma wipes her eyes. I never resented your success. You resented my money when you thought I had it and wasn't sharing. Now you resent my success because it proves I was right to save instead of spend. Either way, you resent me. The truth of that statement settles over the table like a heavy blanket. Emma can't deny it because we both know it's accurate. Marcus appears with our main courses and the special birthday dessert for Dad. A beautiful chocolate cake with sparklers instead of traditional candles. The whole dining room applauds as he presents it, and Dad grins like a kid. Make a wish, Dad, I say. He closes his eyes, pauses for a moment, then blows out the sparklers. When he opens his eyes, he's looking directly at me. I wished for my daughter to be as happy as she deserves to be, he says. After dinner, as we're saying goodbye outside the restaurant, Dad pulls me aside while Mom and Emma get their car from the valet. I'm proud of you, he says simply. Not just for the restaurant, but for how you handled tonight. It wasn't easy. The best things never are. He hugs me tightly. Your grandfather would have loved this place. He always said success isn't about what you achieve, it's about who you become in the process of achieving it. As I watch my family drive away, I realize Dad is right. The restaurant is just the external proof of something internal. I've become someone who doesn't apologize for being capable, someone who doesn't shrink to make others comfortable, someone who builds instead of just dreaming. 6 months later, Gramercy's table has a 3-week waiting list and 5-star reviews across every platform. Emma and I text occasionally, but we've found a comfortable distance that works for both of us. Mom still worries that I'm working too hard, but she does it with pride now instead of judgment. And Dad? Dad brings clients and friends to the restaurant at least twice a month, always introducing me as my daughter, the successful entrepreneur. Every time I remember that little girl who just wanted someone to be proud of her accomplishments. Now I'm proud of them myself. Turns out, that was the most important approval of all. If this story resonated with you, make sure to like and subscribe for more stories about family, success, and learning to value yourself enough to build the life you deserve.